One time during the campaign, I was outdoor knocking for Jen and I needed to get a snack. And the McDonald's was the only reasonable thing that was close by. So I caved. I got the double filet of fish sandwich. And how could you not? It was like $2 more to add on that extra layer of filet of fish. No, I know they say it's a, what do they say? It's definitely not mahi. I guess let's not even assume what type of fish, if anything. It's just like anything else. It's a collection of pink slime that they call fish. That is very interesting, Henry. I did not know that. Filet-O-Fish was introduced in 1964 to replace the hot dogs. Yes, Mickey D's used to sell hot dogs. I can't say I'm surprised because they wanted to make it a little bit like a, I guess what you would call like a barbecue type of joint, hamburgers, hot dogs. That makes sense. And in the early stages of any fast food industry, which of course was completely revolutionary at the time, in the late 1950s, obviously McDonald's went through a varying degrees of incarnation in terms of its design. I just stay away from it altogether because I know how bad it is for you. Now, in terms of why former President Trump decided to go to McDonald's, there's a litany of different reasons, not the least of which is, yes, it was a publicity stunt. I think we can all agree that Donnie did not go there because he was trying to show that he is the everyman. That's one thing I give Trump at least a slight bit of credit for. Trump does not pretend that he is one of the working class or the working man's champion. He is the entrepreneur's champion, and I think he embraces that. And I do know, I think one of the people that spoke with him at the drive-thru had actually asked him what his thoughts were on a living wage or raising the minimum wage. See, I have a different opinion about that than maybe a lot of people on the left. I'm not a big proponent of the minimum wage, but I am a proponent of a living wage. Everything varies differently depending on what part of the country that you're in. But make no mistake, every job has merit and in one way, shape, or form must be contributing to the economy. Now, of course, I'm not a fan of McDonald's by any stretch of the imagination, not just because of how unhealthy the food is, but because, like every other mega corporation, they do absolutely nothing to contribute to the local economy. That's why you should always shop small and buy local. That's not just a catchphrase for politicians. It's very real and it's very important. But I do believe that former President Trump decided to do this stunt, if you will, for a few different reasons. Number one, he broke the internet because no one can stop talking about it. Number two, he is taking a direct shot at Kamala, who claimed to have worked at McDonald's. Turns out she didn't. And then number three, this was in Pennsylvania, and it was on his way to a rally, which was on his way to, I don't know what the name of the Pittsburgh Steelers football stadium is now. But Trump is employing a very similar strategy that he utilized to win Pennsylvania back in 2016, and that is win the rural counties in very high numbers and then pick off a healthy percentage of the vote in the Pittsburgh suburbs. And if he does that, he's very likely going to win Pennsylvania again. So the decision to do this, I think, also speaks to how he is an entertainer, why people like to see Trump do the things that he does, not because they think he's some great political aficionado on all things local, state, and federal, but because he knows how to gin up interest in what is otherwise a very boring part of our society. Not that it isn't important, it's extremely important, but Trump knows how to bring eyeballs to the political arena. And that's one of the main drivers as to why they do not stop covering him, regardless of the context, because they know he's a ratings bonanza. And he always will be as long as he's involved. So here's former President Trump doing my thing at the McDonald's near Philadelphia yesterday.
Do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much
You
for
are not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much.
They're really great people. They come up to the window. Everyone loves me. They totally appreciate everything I do. And look at me. I got to tell you, he does look good in that uniform. I can't help it. It's so, it is kind of funny because when you think about it, they make all these memes about Trump that, hey, you should be working there. Hey, you should be working here. I don't know. He just kind of fits that uniform. I know he doesn't really care, but I think to myself, imagine having to work there 40, 50 hours a week, every week for many, many years. I don't know if the lady who was showing him how to handle the fries, maybe it's part of this clip, but he asked her, how long have you been here? And I think she said since like 2014. That's unbelievable. People, I have heard, especially conservatives, chastise people that work in fast food. Like, why don't you get yourself a better job? Hey, man, that job's not easy. And I wonder if the majority of people who criticize people who work in a fast food restaurant, they eat fast food. They probably do. I don't have statistical evidence to back that up, but we all know a lot of people tend to be very hypocritical about a lot of silly things.
I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Put it up. Keep it tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
Good. Make it back.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to...
Yeah, but now you're probably tired from actually having to do manual labor. And this is why we've been saying for the longest time, we need a labor party in this country. Right now, we don't have one. We have two corporate. Well, let me rephrase. It's not that, for example, the Green Party doesn't care about labor. They do, but they're not a major party in the sense that they have, federal funding, that they have local, state, and federal candidates running with financially backed slates constantly. But for the two major political parties in our country, we don't have a labor party. What Donald Trump is doing is manual labor. Whether you like it or not, working in a fast food restaurant is manual labor. The only thing Trump should be thinking about, and again, I don't care about the P.T. Barnum stuff. We are the society that we are. People love this type of stuff. It's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I know that there were people that were really triggered by him doing this. And we know that Kamala cannot do this. But what should be the main takeaway from this entire experience is simply this. And Trump said as much. This job's not easy. You're right, it isn't easy, which is why people should be paid a living wage. You don't ever want to have to worry. And for those who have not seen the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds and Anna Faris, and Justin Long, have to mention him. He was a supporter of Jen. Appreciate you, Justin. Check out that movie, Waiting. It really teaches you a lot. And I have worked in the restaurant business, and I can tell you almost all of it is true. It's very true what actually goes on. And don't misconstrue, I am not defending any of those actions that were inappropriate. But Ryan Reynolds said it best in the movie, do not fuck with people that handle your food. So as Trump very generously pointed out, don't want to have my hands touch any of that stuff. Totally don't want to be touching it. So don't touch it. Not touching. No. But he wasn't wearing gloves. When I met Trump, he did shake my hand, but I have heard that he is a germaphobe many a times. So they probably had to sanitize the entire place down. But look, he went there for what? He worked for an hour. I wonder if he got paid minimum wage. There has to be an understanding that even he gets, which I would think would definitely make a difference in his disposition regarding what it means to actually do a hard day's work.
Put this on your resume.
Never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that?
Will be put on your resume.
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala. That's why.
Because she's totally a liar. She's really terrible. She doesn't understand the working man or the working woman. I totally understand it. And now I can appreciate it even more. Kat Negrita, you are 1,000% correct. I'm 41 and I feel as good at my age as I have probably ever felt. We all have our rough days, like anybody else. But eating right, exercising, getting a good night's sleep, and doing everything in your capacity not to stress yourself out. Easier said than done, but that is what you need to do in terms of living a good, long, and healthy life. Now, unfortunately, if you are eating McDonald's on a regular basis, like the Donald likes to do, that's not good. Now, the only reason why it isn't as much of a problem for him as it is for everybody else is because when you're rich, there are advantages that you have that very few others have. Gets his blood checked all the time, gets his cholesterol checked all the time. They let him know, you're going over the limit, got to ease up on that, take a few weeks off, can't be eating McDonald's now. But I totally want it. When can I have it again? You got to tell me, when can I have my McDonald's? Give it a few weeks. You'll be okay. The Big Macs aren't going anywhere. Quarter pounders with cheese aren't going anywhere. They'll be right there for you when we give you the okay. Like I said, the message to be taken away from this publicity stunt is very simple. All work matters, and everyone should be working for a living wage if they're working a full-time job. It used to be that way, but corporate special interests captured our government. And now you can't do that. And it covers everything, not just the little stuff. And you have to remember, the one thing that I harp on being in commercial real estate is private equity led by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard taking over everything. And that's a big problem. But really, it's a connected system when you think about it. Why does McDonald's get subsidized, but our farmers markets don't? Think about how much healthier this country would be if we subsidized all farmers markets, encouraged people to eat healthy and exercise. But remember, especially as it relates to the biggest, kahuna of them all, Big Pharma. We are not in the business of preventing problems like not eating shit food like McDonald's. We are in the business of fixing problems with drugs from eating too much shit food like McDonald's.